with a new two perspective disc review. We just got some Ballista Pros
and Explorers. We're really excited to test these out, see what they can do and what they may compare to in our bags.
And definitely it's going to be different for me than it is for Eric, so that's why we're doing a two perspectives. Alright, so I haven't thrown these yet. We've got the Ballista Pro and the Explorer. From what I've heard, the Explorer is supposed to be pretty straight, but a little more on the stable side, so we'll see what that throws like. And the Ballista Pro, from what I've heard, is going to be obviously a more stable version of the Ballista, which is great because I originally started with a Ballista in my bag, but it would get a little unreliable and flip up a little more than I intended it to. So I ended up taking those out of my bag because of that lack of stability once they get beat in. So I'm hoping that these will be a good substitute for that, and maybe they'll make their way into my bag.
My first thoughts on the Latitude 64 Explorer are, this is probably one of the straightest discs I've ever thrown. It's got a really good feel in the hand, not a big rim, nice dome to it, so it has incredibly good glide. I could see this being used for a lot of point and shoot spots. Now, another thing I really like about it is that it handles power well. So you can really get on this disc and you won't have a lot of action left or right, being that it is so straight. I'm gonna try it out on some more sidearms and see how straight it feels, but my first impressions are, wow, super straight, what a great fairway. So now we're gonna talk about the Ballista Pro. This disc is super fast, and I think it is more in lines of what people were expecting out of the Ballista. Lands in a really good spot between the Sheriff and a Defender, so it's not as overstable as a Defender, but you actually have some fight that you don't always see in the Sheriff. So it'll be really good for a lot of bigger arm speeds, but it is a very wide rim driver, so keep that in mind when you're throwing these. Thrown it on some sidearms. I really like it so far. This thing goes a really long way and it always wants to push forward. So unlike Tina, I've actually had some time to throw these a little bit. I got out with AJ Risley and got to see these things fly. And so we're really gonna test those first impressions on if they hold true and what these discs can really handle.
impressions. Both a little more on the stable side than I was expecting, but they're brand new. Also adding to the stability, they are in heavier weights, which for me I usually throw around the 167 to 169 range. These are both around 175. So that definitely makes a difference because my arm is not quite that strong to keep up with the heavier weight discs. In a little bit lower weight, I think I could probably get these to go a lot further. Right now I'm getting about 280-ish feet. I definitely think these can be bombers. I just need the right weight. Definitely out of the box, they tend to be more stable anyways. I wanted to compare the Explorer to a Fury, but it's definitely more stable. And that's what I bag right now for my straight shots. So I'd compare this more to like a Convict, maybe more on the stable side than a Convict. Similar glide, similar flight altogether, but without more throws, it's kind of tough to tell exactly what it would throw like once it gets beat in. From what I can tell, I think it would keep its stability, but have a little more flex, kind of like a Convict. As for the Ballista Pro, not same rim. I think it's a little skinnier rim than an actual Ballista, but it's pretty similar. I currently bag mostly Fusion and Biofusion Trespasses for my distance driver. So because of the rim specifically, I would say that this doesn't really knock out my Trespasses from my bag, but it definitely is more on the stable side, and once it gets beat in, I think it's going to keep that stability but add some glide. So there's a good chance I'll be playing with this, see how it works once it gets beat in a little bit more, but for now it's not kicking out my Trespasses. Really, I just love the way it feels in my hand. I've got smaller hands, so the smaller rim on a Trespass makes more sense for me. But for a lot of other players with bigger hands, with more arm speed, Ballista Pro might be really good for them.
So comparing these discs to discs that I carry in my bag, the Explorer and the Felon would be the first comparison. I bag a lot of Felons. This is one of my straighter Felons, so I wanted to give this a really good test to this super straight flying fairway. The difference is speed. The Explorer is significantly slower, so it's a little bit more controllable. It has that more neutral flight, but it does like to fight. That's the thing that I really like about this disc, that you could hit it with some power and you can trust that you're not going to lose it. It doesn't have a lot of deviation in its flight pattern, so it's a very, if you think about a hallway, it's not hitting walls. It's really good to hit in fairways. But will it kick out a Felon? It might, but I really like the Felon for a lot of different shots, so I'm going to give this Explorer a really good test. The Felon and the Explorer were going about the same distance for me, 350, maybe 400 feet. It's a really good flying disc, and I can see this Explorer being great for a lot of players. Moving on, the Ballista Pro, the closest thing that I'll compare it to is the Enforcer. I bag only Enforcers just out of, that's my preference. And the Ballista Pro, I can hit this pretty far, 450, 500 feet, and get it to flex. My only worry is if I hit it too hard that it might hold that turn forever. I did compare it with the Biofusion version of the Enforcer that has a significant amount more turn, so I'd put it closer to that, but it's faster. The Ballista Pro is significantly faster, and you can really feel that in that rim width, and you can feel it when you see it coming out of your hands. It just really pops and cruises. So this is a really good disc. I could see myself carrying one of these for bigger open courses where I really have no worries of OB and I'm just trying to go for pure distance. But in most cases, I'll continue to use my Lucid Enforcers just for that consistency. But the Ballista Pro, I think, is going to be what a lot of people have been anticipating out of a high-speed disc. It handles power, glides far, and finishes straight. We're going to talk about what these discs look like as far as the profile goes. They both have a nice dome to them. In the Explorer, you have a smaller rim. As you can see, the width is, it's very comfortable, and it's going to be good for all hand types. I would probably put this around a 7-speed style disc. Really good feeling fairway driver. It's not too deep, it's not too shallow. It allows you to have a good grip, and that dome that it has, you can see that the dome adds to its ability to glide. So you're going to get a lot of extra flight out of this 7-speed disc. It's really nice. Moving on to the Ballista Pro, you can also see that dome. It's not as prominent, but it is still there. As far as the width goes, you can see that it's very, very wide rimmed. It's going to be good for bigger hands, but you can just tell this disc is very, very fast. Now, Tina mentioned a little bit about the disc not having it being a little bit deeper than the Ballistas, so it's very, very comfortable for most hands, but the width is where most players are going to find a little bit of trouble. So if you like that dome, you like that wide rim, Ballista Pro. So with these releases, I think a lot of people are going to be super excited, and everybody should give these a try. I think the Explorer is going to work for a lot of different arm speeds, and the Ballista Pro might be that disc that works for every arm speed, because even slow arm speeds can use it for more overstable shots.
Definitely the Ballista Pro seems like a more versatile disc, and the Explorer too, I think any player can use it if they're looking for something that's straight and with a little bit of overstability on the finish. So tell us in the comments, do you think you'll pick one of these up? Do you think you'll try to bag it? Just let us know.
Yep. Make sure you guys go follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on Patreon, and soon check out WhalePantsDG.com. There's going to be some really cool stuff coming out there. So maybe by the time you see this video, that site will be live. We're really excited about these molds. We're really excited about the 2018 season. Most importantly, be dynamic.